Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 374. Good afternoon, everybody. It is after 12 o'clock. I hope everyone had a good morning. We went out and ate this morning and just had some fun with some friends and got back here in time to tear up a whole lot of stuff and then start over. Just be patient. It may not all go together perfectly, but hey, we got the JP8 report going on. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you are not already currently a follower of the JP8 report, please click that follow button and then click the like button, the thumbs up button, and then chat. I like having chatters. I got two of them out there that may be joining in just a minute. Retired Rob, 53, and Covite for life. Both of them are in and out, so I don't know if they expect them or not, but we'll see. Let's start off. I'm going to put an American flag. They usually cues up a bunch of people. There we go. I put an American flag in the chat for everybody so they can see it. So here we go. All right. I'm serious. If you ain't been watching the news and you're living under a rock, you know a lot of stuff has changed just in the last little while. All right. So let me get this set. Alrighty. So America 250. America 250. I have a letter from General Washington to Major General Artemus Ward on the 18th of April, which is tomorrow. I did the 17th of April this morning during the JP's morning brief. And so I'm doing Saturdays today this time. Sir, I don't know why you addressed him as sir. I guess he's just being a gentleman. Okay, so it's General Washington, the General Artemis Ward. Sir, I received your letter on the 11th in answer to Colonel Glover's application to you. I am of opinion that of all accounts respecting armed vessels should be paid by the agents only. And as the trial of the prizes cannot much longer afford, they will have the cash for the goods, which may be commended in their hands, much more than sufficient to answer the demands upon them. If not, it to be more profitably of this, you will be pleased to give a warrant for as much as will pay the wages due to the men. The ship Jenny and the brigantine, both taken by Commodore Manley, the former from London, the later from Antigua, bound to Boston, are, in what I can learn, prosperous vessels to be fitted out as cruisers. You will therefore, sir, have a person of knowledge and trust sent on board to examine them. If the report of them is as such, they will be presented to me. You must have them purchased for the account of the United Colonies. If Commodore Manley is in your neighborhood, his opinion on them must have weight, and if they are not fit for the purpose, he will of course have a choice of them, and intending to fix one of them out, his first lieutenant can command the Hancock. In the meantime, the sooner this is put into execution, the better. There is nothing material to inform you from hence. I am, sir, your most humble servant, George Washington. All right. So that's what happened today. I believe General Ward was left back in Boston. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Cool for life. Okay. I see that you're here, Richard. And so is retired Rob, 53. You notice I changed up some of my display over here. I got let me back up a little bit. I put a Humvee over here, and I put a Black Hawk over here. Pretty cool. Rose, my daughter, gave them to me for Christmas a couple years ago, so I figured I'd put them out. All right. So that being said, let's get back to what's going on now. The Iran update. Oh, before I get to that, it's almost military related. You know what I just read on Outkick.com just a few minutes ago, doing my final prep for the show? Top Gun 3 is a go. Paramount Plus, Paramount Skydance, or I think that's where they actually said there will be a Top Gun 3. But they didn't release what the plot was going to be about, but they did say it will go, and that Jerry Bruckheimer is going to be involved, and Tom Cruise is going to be involved. All right, so that's going to be pretty good. I just thought you'd like to know, because both of the movies so far is pretty good, and I understand that Top Gun Maverick was not allowed to be shown in China, and it still made $1.5 billion. All right. No. What? Rob, don't give me that look. All right, so here we go. Iran update. Operation Epic Fury. It's the 10th day of the ceasefire. I had to scratch through my note here. It said Iran blockade extended worldwide. We know that is kind of been modified. The Israeli-Lebanese ceasefire is holding. Marco Rubio, United Kingdom, is discussing the next steps. The International Atomic Energy Agency's chief says Iran needs strict verification when it comes to the nuclear program that they had. The U.S. is no longer in Syria. The last soldiers trucked out this morning or last night. France's Macron actually praised the Lebanese ceasefire, and the Strait of Hormuz is open. All right. And then we're going to go over that in just a second. All right. Brent crude oil right now is trading at $89.02 a barrel. This morning at 5 a.m., when I wrote this down for the show, this morning show, it was at $98.11. So it's dropped almost $10 in a matter of hours, right? West Texas Intermediate. Right now, it's at $81.40 a barrel, and this morning it was at $89.51 a barrel. And the Dow Jones is at 49,640.99. It's up 1,062.27. Okay, that is wrong. Because I saw an update on that just a minute ago. Wait, 1208. Oh, that's right. That can't be right. Refresh it. It's up 1,063 points. Okay. It moderated. All right. And I'm going to get a correct one on WTI. West Texas Intermediate right now is 81.38, which is 2 cents cheaper than what I wrote it down about 10 minutes ago. And Brent North Sea crude is 88.92. And it dropped another 10 cents within the last 15 minutes. All right. So the strategic or theater level changes in the economy has been drastically changed just this morning on what it comes with the flow of oil, right? And like I titled the podcast, Let the Black Gold Flow, because it is going to flow. Now, according to the Iran blockade, right? The president said the blockade's still in place, but traffic is free to flow through the Strait of Hormuz until the ceasefire is solidified and everything is taken care of and put into writing. The Iranian ports will still be blockaded. Okay, all right. So that being said, we'll get to the oil stuff in just a second. This morning, let me put both of these out here. COVID for Life says it's pretty cool about the price of oil. I'm serious. That is really good. And I told Richard that if Tuesday he shows up at the uh, Coppers Cove Conservative Club and gas was $2.50 a gallon, I'd buy dinner. He didn't show, and gas wasn't $2.50 a gallon, so I lucked out there. All right. Hope you're listening, Richard. All right. So just a few minutes ago, just a few minutes ago. And hey, jump into the chat, people. Help us out. We got three-way conversation going on right now. All right. So let me get back to where I'm supposed to be. All right. So just about an hour ago, the Senate voted unanimous consent, which means you only had a couple people there, and if no one dissented, the bill passes, right? It's a sucky way of passing legislation, but in Robert's Rules of Order, you can do that. The Senate quietly extended the nation's spying powers Friday morning after the House failed to reauthorize the program before the fast approaching deadline. The upper chamber's unanimous vote, which is, like I said, unanimous consent, to vote to extend the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act gives Congress a little more breathing room beyond the April 20th deadline, but still leaves lawmakers in the same divided place they started. Senate Majority, my book. Um, your book is still here, okay, man? I didn't do nothing with it. Watch. I have to stop my podcast just to suffice. See, it's still here. I'll get it back to you, okay? All right. Senate Majority Leader John Thune had positioned the Senate to swiftly receive and possibly pass the FISA reauthorization, but he recognized possible division over greenlighting a clean extension of the program in the upper chamber. We're going to need some cooperation to get it done before things will go dark on the 20th, and I hope that we have the level of cooperation in the Senate, Thune said Thursday, but we're not going to know for sure until the House processes that in and sends it to us. The original plan derailed because the controversial Section 702 of FISA, on the surface, it allows the government to spy on foreign nationals abroad, but nothing stops the law from collecting data on Americans if they happen to be involved in those communications. The original plan, okay, while FISA as a whole is a vital tool in the government, particularly as it uncertainly swirls about the true end of the war in Iran, Congress still isn't on the same page as the White House. Okay, man, what's up with the paper? President Donald Trump and the White House pushed lawmakers to pass a clean reauthorization of the program, which Republicans and Democrats in both chambers have pushed back against. It's a rare horseshoe in Washington, D.C. that draws opposite ends of the political spectrum, conservatives and progressives together on privacy rights. Opponents of the Section 702 want warrant requirements for the federal government to parse communications involving Americans. Congressional Democrats similarly demand warrant requirements for immigration agents to enter people's homes as part of the list of demands to reopen DHS. And then Senator Wyden of Oregon pushed back against the clean reauthorization, arguing in a letter to Democrat colleagues that leaps and bounds in AI are supercharging how the government can surveil Americans. He's right. He's right. So what happened is They did this 10-day extension, and it passed in the House. They sent it to the Senate. The Senate approved on a unanimous consent. And then so for the next 10 days, which would take us to, I believe, April 30th, I think it is, that's when it all runs out and they have to do it all over again. All right. All right. So with that being said, there was one other piece I wanted to read because I had printed off a different article this morning with for this, and I circled it so I wouldn't forget. So part of the people that are actually dissenting to this legislation was a Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. She's from Colorado, right? She's one of the very conservative congresswoman in the Congress. I don't always get along with every single thing she says, but the vast majority of it I do. So this is why she objected, right? She said, I'm going to read both paragraphs, okay? The folks who are saying we want these reforms within Pfizer, we mean what we say. And that's not something that we're going to sidestep. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado said Thursday, we're always threatened that something very bad is going to happen. People will die if we don't reauthorize 702, Boebert continued. But many men and women, thousands, have died for the Fourth Amendment, and I'm going to continue to stand up and protect the Fourth Amendment rights for all Americans. So she is so heartily behind the effort to protect Americans. And she is an absolute no when it comes to this legislation until they protect rights. Just look at what I've been talking about over the last several months with what happened to a lot of Republicans early on in the Biden administration with what the FBI did and how they attempted to conceal it all, right? And it just kept going and going and going. And the whole theme behind the thing was to hurt President Trump as much as possible to keep him from being reelected or even elected. All right. So FISA has been extended for 10 more days. So they're going to have to go back work on this Monday. But they need to listen to conservatives when they write the updated version of this. Okay, these two can go over here. So I need to do a little bit more reorganizing so I can put these papers down here, okay, or put them right over here. Maybe it's better to go right here. All right, I'm just talking to myself, I guess. How's everybody out there today? It'd be great. Let's see. I got 9 people watching full time right now that I can see. And we got Covite for Life on. I have Retired Rob 53 on also. All right. Give us some hey, if you're watching live, put in where you're watching from. What state? Don't put the city, just put the state that you're watching the JP8 from, okay? All right. So, as the title of the podcast says, let the black gold flow. Okay, so as we all know, tankers can transit the Strait of Hormuz now, right? Only Iranian vessels are restricted to Iranian ports and can't leave. Nobody's in. Man, come on, guys, let's do something. So I said state, so I'm going to put Texas. I'll go one step further. There we go. I got it started. All right. So President Trump, hold one more thing. Is this Okay, so I got a True Social for you, right? And it corresponds with the two articles I have for y'all to go. All right. So first one, Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business in full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force in effect as it pertains to Iran only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. This process should go very quickly in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention in this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And then he followed up with that. This next one was before that one. Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran uh, is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. And there was more. I mean, we'll go over some of these True Social. Matter of fact, okay, I'm going to have to just read them to you because I don't have my OBS up here. All right, so let me go on back over here. Nope. All right, so let's see. President Trump and Iranian Foreign Minister Said Abbas Agharechi on Friday announced that the Strait of Hormuz is now completely open for all ships following the Israeli-Lebanese ceasefire, with Trump giving more details about the agreement he said that was made with Tehran. In line with ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vehicles through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open and for the remaining period of the ceasefire. And the coordinated role has already announced. The coordinated role has already been announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Agarachi said in a post to X. Trump later took the True Social to share the news himself, but said the agreement would instead be permanent. Oh wow, waste of paper. Iran has agreed never to close the Strait of Hormuz again. It will no longer be used as a weapon against the world. Iran said Iran, with the help of the U.S., has removed or is removing all sea mines. Thank you, President DJT, he said. Maintaining the blockade will allow Washington to hold its leverage against Tehran to force Iran to come to the table for peace talks and agree for fair trial while allowing other ships to access the waterway. He also announced that True Social posts a separate deal with Lebanon. But we will make Lebanon great again. The U.S. will get all the nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. All right. Aragachi, in his message, did not mention the application of a toll of ships accessing the strait, but as previously attempted to do so during the height of the war with the U.S. It applies only to routes with pre-approved from the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guards, which had been floated as a mechanism for collecting tolls. However, a pre-approved roads for an element of safety to ships passing through the waters which Iran mined during the conflict. So, does anyone have any questions about that? Because that was actually pretty good. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Well, I took my eyes off the off the chat. Alrighty. I gotta watch that. Alright. So what are we looking at? 12:25. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Alrighty, guys. Now, to keep that open and vehicles moving, the president had to talk to Iran. All right, and I don't have none of those true socials for it. But if I do, I could tell you this. It says Iran has agreed never to close the Trump Hormuz again. It will no longer be used as a weapon against the world president DJT. Okay, and then a great and brilliant day for the world, DJT. Thank you for Pakistan's great Prime Minister, Field Marshal, two fantastic people, Donald J. Trump. Again, this deal is not tied in any way to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. And then he posts again, Iran, with the help of the U.S., has removed or is removing all mines. Thank you, President DJT. Thank you, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar for your great bravery and help, President Donald J. Trump. It just keeps going and going. Okay, so I just read those ones right there. There's a few of them over here. The USA is the hottest country in the world right now. Just short time ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden, it was dead. Laughed at all the time, and all over the world, but not anymore. Nobody's laughing. President DJT. Okay, so we got that done. So what the president said, President Trump had stern words for Israel as he made clear that the U.S. is in the driver's seat for this 10-day ceasefire between the Jewish state and Lebanon. Israel is not bombing. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon anymore. The people who they are prohibited from doing so by the USA, and enough is enough. The president wrote in a sharply worded True Social Friday post. Troop also threw cold weather on a cash component being being part of the outgoing negotiations to end the war in Iran. As Exos reported, the U.S. has been considering releasing $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in exchange for the besieged Islamic relic, surrendering its body to surrendering a supply of rich uranium. Man, I can't even read. What's up with that? Huh? The money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. Let's gather up pennies, right? The deal is no way subject to Lebanon, neither, but the USA will separately work with the Lebanese and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. All right. The president's admonishment to Israel came hours after the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country had more work to do to achieve ultimate goals of dismantling. On one hand, a weapons ordered is extended for peace. Netanyahu said that a video statement explaining Israel would honor the 10-day ceasefire at the Briesh on behest of President Trump However, he hinted at more battalions are widespread. I will say honestly, we have not yet finished our job. These things we plan to do summing up. Okay, there will be things we can do regarding remaining rocket threat and drone threat, which I will not detail. He also acknowledged that was it, man. Thought there was a little bit more in there. All right, so we'll put that there. All right, how's everybody doing? You still with me, Covite for life? Are you still with me, Rob? All right, so next. Bernie Sanders, AOC-backed Democrat, wins key House race. GOP fails to expand fragile majority. I don't know what the issue is about the Republicans losing this seat. They've lost this seat for years, right? And but I guess she wants it. All right. Republicans fell far short in their bid to flip a vacant U.S. House seat in a blue-leaning district in northern New Jersey. Democrat Communist Delia her victory. Delia will fill in for the final 8. Okay, let me start that paragraph. With her victory, Malia will fill the final 8 months of the current term of Mikey Sherrill. The Democrat responded, who stepped down from Congress in November after winning New Jersey's political election. The special election came as the GOP clings to the fragile majority. Republicans would have to relinquish the opportunity to pick up the seat, but they face a steep hill climb to flip a suburban district, which Sherrill won by 15 points in 2004 and granted by her roughly same margin in last year's Democrat National Committee Chair Ken Martin, and congratulations Mejia on her victory, said her grassroots campaign spoke to hardworking New Jersey families. I know she'll fight on broader occasions, protecting health care, tactical the affordability crisis head on. Okay, hold on just a second. I just saw something across the wires. No, that's good. Clear. All right, I'm back. Okay, so this last night they had this special election on a Thursday, which I don't know why they're having elections on Thursdays instead of on Tuesdays. It seems like they're just doing everything in their power to keep people from knowing when voting is going on. I mean, that's their right as a state. They passed it, right? And that Mikey Sherrill, she got elected governor in November. And first thing she did was announce a voting date for what do you call it? Oh man, lost my train of thought. Okay, so let's start over. So Mikey Sherrill got elected governor in November. So she took office in January, announced a special election for yesterday, and it was from Joe Hathaway, the Republican, against Mikey Sherrill, the Democrat. Not Mickey Sherrill, Analia Mejia was the Democrat. Both of them have a primary on June 2nd. They're both in their respective primaries, and so Mejia won this race, and she's probably going to win the other one in November because this district is a 60-40 district. It used to be polar opposite. Um, Republicans ran that race until they flipped it and was able to regain control of it in the Republican Party. Okay, um, so the Republicans seemed like they had their sights. They wanted to win this fight, but like I was saying this morning, Mr. Hathaway did not look too promising when he was in front of cameras. He was doing the old say so, say so, say so. Then I'm a awesome Republican. Vote for me so I can represent you. And you got this communist. I call her a communist. She won by 20 points, which is impressive. But she states everything coming out of the Communist Manifesto. I mean, free, 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 rights, 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 taken away. That's how she talks. And and the hallmark of her campaign was that she's married. I think she said she's married, and but you never seen her eating around here, right? Um, oh man, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Okay, give me a second. Let me refresh. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what was going on, but look, on the nutshell, was if Republicans want to win these seats, they need to go out and fight them. All right, you have too many people complaining left and right that there's going to be some blue wave come across, and the Republicans are going to be swept out of office, but they're not putting forth the effort to get out here and win these races. All right, hold on, we just hit something across the wire. Oh wow, like I really wanted to see that. Right. If all those Star Wars fans, Natalie Portman is pregnant with her third baby. All right, cool. All right. So, in short, Mejia, the communist, is going to face Joe Hathaway again in the primaries, in their respective primaries, and in November they're going to face each other again. Okay. So she has 7 months to prove to people in New Jersey that she's worth the vote that they gave her. If not, maybe we'll get lucky and can flip that seat back to it. But the way things are going, she took the playbook from Ma'am Donnie in New York City for her race, and she used it successfully and got elected. Okay, all right, all right. So if you want to hear something else about this, right? Um, this is the part, and I kept hearing this on on the TV this morning. Right, uh, Justice Clarence Thomas was in Austin yesterday, and he was he gave a political speech. No, not political speech. He gave a law speech, and it was for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. He said progressivism is a threat to America, which is very, very true. All right. You see how I do my America 250 every single morning and afternoon when I'm doing podcasts. And I highlight the great stuff that's coming from these founding fathers through their voices on the paper. All right. Um, and Clarence Thomas is probably one of the, not the greatest, but close maybe to the greatest of all Supreme Court justices. He is also the senior justice on the Supreme Court right now, and he's the only one that's still on the Supreme Court that was appointed in the 90s. All right, everybody else, the next ones are Samuel Alito and the Chief Justice in, I believe it was 2003, I think, right? So when he was speaking on Wednesday, he was speaking to a packed auditorium of students at the faculty of the University of Texas at Austin to mark the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas, uh, Thomas, the Supreme Court's longest-serving justice, urged the nation to revisit the philosophical foundations of U.S. governance. He said Wednesday that values embraced by the nation's founders have fallen out of favor. In uh, recent decades, and urged younger generations to stand up for their principles. I think if we don't stand up and take ownership of our country and take responsibility for it, we are slowly letting others control how we think and what we think, he told the audience. Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence and hence our form of government. Thomas said Wednesday evening, drawing a direct line between contemporary political movements and what he describes as a departure from the Constitution's original meaning. It holds that our rights and dignities come not from God but the government. Uh, that's what they say, right? Um, the conservative justice also lamented that he said was a growing prevalence of cynicism, rejection, hostility, and animus. Uh, the U.S. And is perpetuated, I can't pronounce that word, by Americans, and particularly the so-called pragmatists or self-described intellectuals. Uh, they recast themselves as institutionalists, pragmatists, or thoughtful moderates, all as a way of justifying their failures to themselves, their consciences, and their country. Thomas's remarks were part of a broader lecture series marking the Declaration's 250th anniversary. And though the tone of his remarks were somber, Thomas closed them with a soaring call to action, urging law students in the audience and viewers to um, hey, just say or show a flag. All right. Woo! These guys are throwing up a good conversation out here, guys. Y'all need to get involved with this chat. All right. Uh, I think if we don't stand up and take ownership of our country and take responsibility for it, we are slowly letting others control how we think and what we think. I think it's losing confidence. Then you get up and you participate. Don't sit down. Don't sit on the sidelines. You know, Clarence Thomas is actually uh, well versed in this one. Okay, I mean he is awesome, but you got to look at it like this: there are a lot of keyboard warriors out there. They don't ever go out and do that. I'm a precinct chair. Uh, Retired Rob on here, he's a precinct chair also, right? Richard, he's politically active with us. Uh, you know, you have like Clarence Thomas said, you got to go out and get it. You can't just sit. You can't just stand on the sidelines. You got to put forth effort. You got to run for office. You got to get on committees. I will tell you one thing. Retired Rob 53 on here. He's also he's the commissioner on our P and Z. I mean, he helps plan the city that we live in. And he is in his 70s. I mean, he doesn't have to do this. He can sit back at home with his wife, eat bonbons, and keep their feet propped up on a coffee table and relax and enjoy life for the end of time, right? But he chooses to stay involved in the system. We need good young Republicans to start getting involved in the process to keep uh, these, like I was just talking about just a minute ago, these communists and socialists from infiltrating our country and ripping it out from inside of us. This country is ours. A lot of us fought for our country. Uh, all three of us that are keep talking on here, we're all vets. We're all combat vets. One was Navy, the other two of us were Army. We volunteered to sacrifice our lives to protect that Constitution and our Declaration of Independence forever and ever and ever. As a gift, we give that to our kids, grandkids, and great grandkids. What it says in the Bible, what you do now is reflected into the fourth generations down from you. So if you are a knucklehead, socialist, scumbag, your kids, grandkids, and great grandkids are going to feel the what you did to your country in the years where you are still on the earth. And there's always a chance that you'll still be alive when they're alive, and they can see the consequences. Like what do they put in the Army? They said you do something, but you have to consider your second and third orders of effects. What happens if I cross the street in this fashion? Is this car going to stop for me? Is this truck going to stop for me? Or is that stoplight going to go off for me? You have to consider all this stuff. So, do you step off in the street to make all these cars stop, or are you going to get hit again, and is that light going to malfunction? You won't know, right? Um, Utah Valley University Council's commencement speaker. Thank you, Rob. That's breaking news right there. If you did not know, a couple of days ago on the JP8 report, I told you that Utah Valley University had scheduled someone that was very condescending and disrespectful toward Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA as a commencement speaker, right? Well, from what retired Rob was just telling me just now, Utah Valley canceled that commencement speaker. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Rob. That was a great breaking news you just gave me, okay? Um, but yeah, so you have to get involved. You have to be willing to run for the city councils, the commissioner courts, uh, you got to be willing to run for the sheriff if you're a lawyer, district attorney, county attorneys. There's lots of different things you can get involved with: constables, sheriffs, Congress, state senate, state representative. You just got to be an ARB. Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, that's the appraisal review board. So if you didn't know, if you're looking at on the chat, you'll see retired Rob 53. He said ARB. He's on the appraisal review board. So every year you get this little thing here in Texas that says how much your house is worth, and then later on you'll find out how much money they're going to take out of your pocket to pay for those taxes on what your house is worth. Well, if you don't like what those appraisers did, you can file an appeal and you'll go before the ARB and they'll say, you know what? You're right. I don't think your house is worth $335,000. We're going to reduce the value of your house down to $290,000 if you can prove that the house is really worth the lower amount instead of the higher amount, right? You got to get involved in that stuff. There's this And there's one thing called the Board of Adjustments, where they issue you a variance for different building codes and stuff that goes against regulations for building stuff inside the cities, right? We're like, that's ridiculous. Well, you know what? We have a house about a quarter mile from here, right? From my house, that when these knucklehead builders built the house, they laid the foundation 3 inches off of what the requirement was to be away from the curb. Yeah, I'm serious. 3 inches, 3 inches, right? The builder had to take the house to the Board of Adjustments and ask them, can you give me a variance for the 3 inches too close to the curb? I built that. Every time I drive by, I call it the crooked house, right? Because it was crooked. And they approved it. They sold it. Someone bought the house and they just put the house up for sale. But that's a whole different story. All right. You got to get involved. You got to show your future generations that our Constitution is worth defending through community service to uphold it. That this is our law. We don't go by international law. We go by American law. All right. And you got to be willing to put up a fight to defend it, to keep these communists and socialists from taking over our country and shaping it the way they want it and stealing it away from us. That's what we got to do. All right. I hope that makes sense. If I'm full of it, I'm full of it. But I'm going to do my best. I like Clarence Thomas. He's a great guy. I know we won't always have him on the Supreme Court, but he has done immense greatness for our country since 1991. I think that's when he was appointed to the Supreme Court. All right, that's a wild guess, but I think I'm right. All right, what are we doing? 12:53. How you doing out there? Hey Rob, give me an American flag. Give me a Texas flag. I'm going to do a Texas flag. There we go. I'm fired up now. All right. So we are getting close to the end of everything right now. We still got about 5 minutes. I got a lot of long-winded stuff here. So we'll just do this like it is, okay? So this is the JP8 report for the day, okay? So let's look at it like this. So here in Coral County, we have next week we have on the 23rd we have a Pints and Politics project, Pints and Politics in Gatesville at Ranchers, and on the 25th, which is next Saturday. So if you remember, about a month and a half ago, we had a big fire in Gatesville by the county courthouse, and on Saturday the 23rd, they're going to have a benefit for the people that work there and for the volunteer fire department. That lost all their wages and stuff because as volunteer they can't go to work, right? So they have maintenance on their equipment. They got to help support them, and the employees in those businesses actually lost their jobs outside of what they get for unemployment, right? So on the 25th, there was going to be a fundraiser in Gatesville from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm going to have to put that up on there because I think there's a QR code. So y'all can actually give to it if you want. And then 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. there's going to be singers there. There's going to be political speeches there, food, all kinds of stuff. And they're just having a grand old time to raise money, right? After that, um, on the 2nd of May and on the 12th of May, the Cordell County Republican Party is going to have meet and greets for our runoff candidates. The 2nd of May is going to be up in Gatesville at the feed mill, I'm sorry. And on the 12th of May, it's going to be at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove with the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. CT Good. Hey, Rob, tell me, what do you mean by CT Good? I'm waiting for explanation from him. And on the election side, the 18th to the 22nd is early vote for the runoff, and the 26th of May, the day after Memorial Day, is the election day for the runoff. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on, some good stuff, some serious business stuff, right? Be prepared for a lot of stuff with the president. The president is in Arizona tonight. He's going to do a Turning Point USA event in Arizona, and yesterday he was in Nevada, right? So he's trying to ratchet up the midterms and stuff for the Republicans. Before I let y'all go, I'm going to check one more time. The Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is, well, it's only up 984 points right now. That's all right. It looks like it'll go back up. And then the next one is West Texas Intermediate is at 82.25, and Brent crude oil is at $90.28. So it's recovered a little bit. Let me check to see what the news is saying real quick. If there's any, okay, so judge unseals ATF ballistics report. Let's see. CENTCOM sends warnings to any Iranian ships attempting to evade U.S. forces in key oil routes. Progressive DA moves fast to ICE. Yeah, okay. Like that's going to really go any good. President Trump's triumphal arch wins preliminary nod from the Fine Arts panel. That is a huge, like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. They're going to do something close to that with some eagles and stuff above it. And it's supposed to be over by the bridge. The Arlington Bridge that leads into Arlington National Cemetery in D.C. It's supposed to cost like $250 million, and he's paying for it out of his money. And it got approved for an initial. It wins preliminary nod, which is really cool. Okay, we just need to get the East Ballroom going. All right, so I'm gonna go eat some lunch, recover from all this. Thank y'all, everyone, for everything y'all done today. All right. I will see you on Monday morning. I'll be doing a whole lot better. I'm going to rest all this weekend, probably. And then what else? Am I missing anything, Rob, before you sign off? Clarence Thomas. What about Clarence Thomas? I'm waiting. Hold on. Ein Moment bitte. Because like I was saying a while ago, Clarence Thomas is an awesome guy. You know what? One of these days I'm gonna put him on the spot. What about Clarence Thomas? So he texted me Clarence Thomas and he chatted Clarence Thomas, but he didn't say anything to go with Clarence Thomas. The Maybe he didn't hear me when I was talking about the speech he gave at the University of Texas. I don't know. Okay. I have to talk to him later. All right. So, other than that, okay. Boy, I got people texting me and everything right now. All right. So, hey, I'm going to let y'all go before I lose everything here. Okay. So, hey, I'll see you on Monday morning, 6:30 for the morning brief, and I will see you at 12 o'clock with the JP8 report. So, I will catch y'all later. I'll see you on the flip side. I'm out.